A presentation by Equality North Carolina, a statewide group dedicated to securing equal rights and justice for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people.
We met a few years ago through a mutual friend.
Yeah. Just hanging out.
We tried to be friends. Didn't last very long.
No, it didn't. Shayna kind of got a ready-made family of sorts because Mary already lived with me through a program in North Carolina. It's called the AFL, Alternative Family Living. The whole thought is that she lived with a family in a true family style, and it's an alternative to either group homes or an institution. Shayna always describes it as she was dating the both of us. A girlfriend with a child, but Mary is 62. So it was a little different.
We had a commitment ceremony this past September. It wasn't something we took lightly. We thought a lot about it, obviously, celebrating the fact that we were making a commitment, a life commitment to each other.
Yeah. And that actually has changed how we look at each other, how we look at the future.
We talked about going to other states, the actual legalization part of it, how much that meant to us versus being able to say it in front of our family and friends. And we ultimately chose to be in front of our community more so than we did the law, but it would have been perfect. It would have been a perfect day if we had been able to do both.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have wanted to raise that one with anybody but you. It does kind of hurt that I don't really get to be included. And his picture just melted our hearts. We couldn't help it. We were like, that is the one. There was just no other place in our heart but for him.
Here we are meeting our son, and I remember Shayna had the camera, and this nurse just plopped him in our lap. Didn't say anything.
Like, here he is.
Social worker didn't even introduce herself. We're sitting there, and there's just chaos. There's all these kids. I
do a little reach around.
So she's like,
and Jax's head is like in the corner, and we're just like our first family photo.
Like, this is awesome,
so
isn't
awkward.
It?
We knew it was worth it as it was unfolding.
Seeing this kid come out, all of the developmental assessments, said he would never, take a spoon. He wouldn't even open his mouth. Eventually started eating, with the spoon, and it was like he's meant to be here, and we are his parents. You don't sleep, you don't eat. You're lucky you check your teeth in the mirror like, oh, I brushed my teeth, great, and I'm dressed. You just think so differently as a parent.
You're no longer first.
Yeah.
I put my family above anything else now. I'm considered the second
other adult living
in the home.
As is Mary.
I have just as much parental responsibility, but on paper, they couldn't deem us as both parents. The state
would not recognize it. That adoption decree will say Megan Parker. His birth certificate will say Megan Parker. It's not fair. And when she is just as much of a parent and does everything right beside me. He had a surgery back in June, and
I wasn't allowed to stay overnight with him in the hospital. I had to leave with visitor hours were over. When it came to who was going to stay, it was always
had to be me.
And anytime a doctor had any updates, questions about anything that had happened previously, they went to Megan.
I would have never taken on the responsibility of parenting a special needs child by myself. On paper, that's what it is, and it's really a shame, because it's not a decision I made by myself.
I'm here for all the memories. I'm here for the stuff that matters.
People will change their minds, and things will work out that we can both have equal rights to our son.
And then when you were in the hospital...
When my mom came, oh, your mom. The doctors would just talk. And even my mom was sort of like, you're talking to the wrong person,
I wasn't ever worried they would make me leave. I was just worried that they wouldn't count me in, that they wouldn't fill me in, that they wouldn't, ask me, what to do if it came to a point where a decision had to be made. That they would just do what was in their best interest instead of including the wishes of their family member.
I did have a lot of complications.
And anytime I would share some information, a lot of the nurses just discounted me.
Well, I was just having to answer a lot of questions where she could easily have answered them. I was so drugged. And the financial advisor sat right there and just kept directing every question towards me. Shayna was in the room. She did speak over me a couple times. It was kind of like that. I would look at her like, help. I don't know. If she were my husband, we wouldn't have had those issues.
We wouldn't have had to ask for those liberties. They would have automatically assumed to include that other person in those decisions or that information. But I had to constantly ask to be included. And a doctor would be walking away as they left her room. I would have to kind of chase them down and be like, can you please tell me what's going on?
Yeah.
How I wonder what
we're a family, just like any other family. We're not asking for anything different. We're asking for the same.
In the sky, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Yeah.
To learn more or join our campaign to end discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity in North Carolina, visit us online at www.equalitync.org.